Hello, in this video I'm talking about how I teach history, social studies, and science with picture books. I use Rod and Staff for reading, writing, and arithmetic. But these are books that I have on my shelf. I can't show you the hundreds of library books we've read, but this will give you an idea of what I consider a good, good enough for first and second grade on history. This is a book I just got at a library sale. This is actual log of Christopher Columbus, his actual writings in here. I'm really excited about that one. So we've read about Christopher Columbus and Ferdinand Magellan, and if you sailed on the Mayflower. It asks questions. Where would you sleep? Would you get into trouble? Yes, these boys actually almost ignited a keg of gunpowder. And the sailors, called the Pilgrims, glib glabbity puke stockings, which I think is a hilarious insult. The 4 books here I got at a thrift store. They're from Troll Associates. So was that Ferdinand Magellan one. I liked their books. I kind of look out for them. This is all colonial American history, and it's not textbooks. This is like interesting stories, but there's a lot of information in it. It's not light material either. This is a book I got from the library. This is more like a textbook. This is kind of more dry, but it reminds us of Johnny Tremaine. We've read that. Johnny Tremaine wasn't dry, and we already learned some of that stuff in there. Patrick Henry, Phoebe and the General. That's General George Washington. She saved George Washington's life, and this is a story I never had heard before. I thought it was very engaging. This is one that children can read on their own. I like this one. I love this Star Spangled Banner book. The illustrations are just gorgeous. It has at the bottom of the page the first verse in the Star Spangled Banner, and I think it even goes through the second verse in the Star Spangled Banner. In the back of the book, it has the actual history and tells you more about Francis Scott Key and the War of 1812. And here's the music. First woman doctor, Elizabeth Blackwell. This is about the Underground Railroad. This is about Alexander Graham Bell. I haven't read this one to my children yet, but I'm about to. I read it out loud to my husband when we were on a road trip a long time, several years ago. San Francisco Earthquake. These 2 books are about the Wright brothers. We're a big fan of flying in our family, so we've read these ones a whole bunch of times. And this one's, falling apart. This one is a lot more detailed. And it's good. Okay, these are 4 books I picked up at a thrift store. These are, they count as science. They're not super detailed, but they go through the normal types of information you would get in first grade. It talks about stoma, talks about roots, talks about how much water plants lose through their leaves, curly hair, straight hair, sleep is for everyone. We love this, the human body. This is a Usborne book I bought, probably 7 years ago, I think, and we've read it to death. It's been taped up a lot. And we've learned a lot, the children have learned a lot of human body, facts with this book. Marvelous Maps. I like maps, and I have not finished this book yet, but we have it. We'll read it. This is a Troll Associates book as well. This is about natural sciences of, life cycles around the pond. This is a nature journal type book about what you can look for when you're on nature walks. I like these 2 books. I found these when we were visiting family in Ohio and we went thrift shopping and found these. I like them. 1 square inch in a desert. No, not 1 square inch. 1 square. How big? I think it's a 3 foot by 3 foot square. They say that they're going to go over like all the living things. Here it is. that can be found in just this small square. So there's desert and there's rainforest. This is about saguaro cactuses. We've read this so many times, and it's in pieces. I have a section on my bookshelf that is for the books that are in pieces, and this was in that section, and I have a lot of taping to do on this book. But it teaches us about the desert cactuses. And then here's a book about, life in a tree and the canopy. And we also really like the BBC Earth videos about there's ones about deciduous forests and caves, plains, deserts, cold deserts. The children have learned a lot about different animals and habitats through those as well. So that's how we do history and science in our homeschool.